I used a mower that glided over a gorgeous lawn. It was my habit to do this every week. The spectator stood at a distance, watching as I leaned against the wires so that I was more and more aligned, just as I was always complimented when I showed it to someone new. Queen of no mysteries, Emily, 43 years old, and I am at a time when I need a distraction. Her husband, John, he prefers that I stay home while he works and goes out wherever he pleases on the weekends. Little by little, that was getting to me, you know? But I found something interesting that I want to share with you. Listen, because today it is in great detail. The twilight light entered through the bathroom's stained glass window in golden fragments, painting warm stripes on my damp skin. I had left the door ajar by mistake, or perhaps not, knowing that the dusty hallway held an unwitting observer. As the metal slid over my thigh, a silver thread cutting through the white foam, I heard a noise, something I had heard before, accompanied by a change in air pressure, as if silence had learned to hold its breath. After the noise, my body arched over the edge of the tub, deliberately slowly. My breasts, two ripe fruits beneath the veil of steam, swayed with the movement. My nipples, a dark amber color, became firmer and firmer, not from the cold, but from certainty. In the crack in the door, an eye sparkled, a tin pupil that followed each curve revealed. I smiled inside. I knew there was an apprentice there, or perhaps an adventurer who wanted to explore the lawn, regardless of the fact that it was completely mowed. I remained focused, without making mistakes, applying all the techniques I knew to make that forest of joy as impressive as possible. Sometimes I did a more decorated work on it, a kind of triangle, sometimes a mohawk, depending on what came to my creative mind. There, the humidity made the shadows seem alive, the metal floating in the air. I stretched my leg to the side, letting the light reveal it even more. The precious, as I had secretly named it, pulsed softly, a half-opened shell, bathed in mist. The spectator, or rather, the apprentice who was always with me, whose name I repeated mentally like a mantra that flickered in my head, changed position in the hallway. The floor groaned. I pretended not to hear, bringing my fingers to my mouth to moisten them before continuing. My breasts fell against my knees, and a theatrical sigh escaped me, loud enough to be caught beyond the door. When I stood up, the water ran in rivulets, outlining the contours that the apprentice had been watching so much. Wide curves, sculpted like those of a country goddess, a waist that seemed made for someone's hands to get lost in, and below, the precious, in her moist splendor, like a nocturnal flower that only blooms under clandestine glances. I wrapped myself in the towel, deliberately slowly, the white fabric stuck like cement. When I went out, I found him sitting in the hallway, a book open on his lap, his fingers still, sometimes trembling slightly. "Did you need something?" I asked, as a few drops dripped onto the carpet. He blushed, his voice breaking. "I just came to see if you needed help carrying the groceries." I smiled, pulling what was hidden a little lower. "So kind, but today..." I paused, letting the word hang. "Today I think I've carried enough weight." Later, when the night was already embracing the house and the aroma of dinner was spreading through the air, I walked down the hallway and something caught my attention. The soft light from the lamp escaped through the crack in the half-open door, projecting shadows that danced in rhythmic movements under the sheets. Agile, determined hands, as if they were rehearsing an intimate game, a forbidden secret revealed only to the silence of the room. I leaned against the door, letting the intense flavor of the dark chocolate dissolve on my tongue, and leaned in slightly, whispering into the keyhole in a playful tone full of mischief. "Be careful not to tear off the petals. Night gardens are delicate." The silence fell suddenly. The movement stopped at the same instant, as if my words had struck a sensitive nerve, a veiled alert, an invitation disguised as a warning. I smiled to myself, a low laugh, complicit in the scene, and slowly walked away, feeling an unmentionable warmth run through my skin. Deep down, Preciosa was pulsing inside me, vibrant, alive, like a well-kept secret. Or perhaps, finally shared. That night passed quickly, I rested a lot, and the next day he preferred not to go to any friend's house. It was a Saturday, really. Ah, those Saturdays at home, watching TV, doing my nails and cleaning the house, as I always did, listening to music that entertained me and excited me more and more. And it was in this excitement that I would stay a little longer, cleaning the bathroom. The bathroom needed special care. The fabric I had chosen to clean, it was very light, calm. There were no obstacles underneath. The lawn, the parade, a true spectacle. I cleaned and put away the little metal, remembering the work I had just done yesterday. The triangle was going to start making history. The spectator was there once again, learning every movement that this time I was just acting out. There was a mirror in the corner, and I could see how much he was paying attention to my coordinates. At one point, as a test, I started using my fingers in the precious technique. He was moved to the side, and I decided to present the garden, moving the fabric for a clearer and more concise observation. From afar, the apprentice wanted to observe more closely. I whispered softly, "Practice requires proximity." The fabric found its way slowly, reaching the ground, an abandoned sheet of dew. In the mirror, our double game gained layers. I stood like a post-laboratory statue of Venus, he a trembling silhouette in front of the half-open door. I guided him as if he were in a new country, without knowing the native language. "Looking is an art," I said, guiding his hand to the forgotten grassless garden. "But touching is hydraulics." I showed him the correct way to handle the tool, until I started, showing him the exact and efficient pressure, the precise angle. Together, we recreated the harvesting ritual, the meticulous pruning, the irrigation in concentric circles, the buzz of the metal cutting through the air like a swarm of hungry bees. In the mirror, the shadows merged into a single figure, my hands steady on it like someone receiving a prize. He learned quickly, the apprentice, and I, between sighs that fogged up the glass even more, watched the triangle transform into a pyramid. I managed to teach while having fun at the same time. "So," he asked, his voice hoarse as if he had just discovered a new alphabet. I almost answered, adjusting his pulse. "But remember, gardens require patience and daily watering. Be very careful not to spill anything, okay?" I didn't want to go out anymore, or finish cleaning the house. My lessons had been applied so well that I managed to do it properly, without spilling anything. I know that with all the tools I knew that the gardening manual would never be the same again. Did you like this story? Then leave a comment telling us what you thought, and, if you've ever experienced something similar, share it with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you don't miss any new content. Here, we always bring life stories, reflections, and real experiences, all with great sincerity. Thank you for watching until the end and for being part of this journey. See you in the next video.